welcome back. I'm that Halloween movie collector, Pat, and we're going to do another top 5 of my top 5 ranking of the movies of the early 2000s, from 2000 to 2009. Quite a large array of movies did come out, some good, some real stinkers. Not a great time for horror as far as I'm concerned. So I did whittle it down to my top 5, my 5 favorite. Watch along, and maybe some of these will be in your top 5. From 2007, Trick or Treat. Not to be confused with Trick or Treat, Trick or Treat. This movie takes me right back to one of my favorites, if not, which actually was my favorite movie, horror movie from the 1980s, Creepshow. It's the anthology. I love anthology stuff. This is a little bit different than Creepshow because Creepshow, everything didn't tie into each other except for the little pieces in the middle with Tom Atkins and the little boy, who was actually Stephen King's son. But this actually has a narrative that intertwines, and you have the ever-present Sam, the pumpkin burlap character in the pajamas with the lollipop that's basically enforcing the rules of Halloween throughout the whole anthology. And the stories are great from the beginning with the couple coming back from trick-or-treating, and she's going to clean up all the decorations, and she ends up getting killed. Right to the principal, who is evil and tricks the one kid who is vandalizing into eating all this chocolate, and he poisons them, and he's teaching his little boy how to basically carve a jack-o'-lantern out of a head. And he gets his comeuppance much later on in the witch segment. The whole part where the school bus with all the kids that go off the cliff, and the other kids go down to investigate it as a prank, and it turns into reality. So this is such a great movie. If you love anthology stuff, I love anthology. I come from the Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark Side, obsessive nature, and anthology movies like this, especially when they intertwine with a character, and Sam himself has become much of a pop culture icon, and you see tons of trick-or-treat stuff, especially at Spirit Halloween every Halloween. So this is just a fun movie start to finish. Nothing crazy about it. It's just like it's like soup to me. It's like nice warm soup. It's calming. It's a nice movie to watch and just sit there and enjoy, especially at Halloween time, because it's got a lot of Halloween vibes. Obviously, it's about Halloween. I mean, you can watch it all year long, but it's always special to watch in the fall. Number 4. From 2009, Zombieland. Now, this movie's, between me and my son, this is like our favorite movie to watch because we just love this movie from start to finish. Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, just hysterical in this. You know, it's a zombie apocalypse. It's a mad cow disease basically is taking over, and they're just trying to survive. And these zombies are crazy because they're not just like walking. They're hardcore zombies that really run and chase after you. So you have Jesse Eisenberg, who's got his whole list of things on how to deal with it, from doing a double tap and cardio, stay away from bathrooms, all these basically sort of a zombie guide to the apocalypse, so to speak. And they have their adventures. He meets up with Woody Harrelson, whose name is Tallahassee, because they use all their names from where they're from. They don't use their real names. Tallahassee, Columbus. They meet up, and all he wants is a goddamn Twinkie, which is great. His whole purpose in life is to find a damn Twinkie. And they meet up and settle up with 2 girls who are Wichita and Little Rock, and they go on an adventure, and they're always just basically trying to screw each other. The girls screw them, leave them hanging, take the Hummer. And it's just, this is such a fun movie from start to finish. There's not much more to say about it. Zombieland Double Tap was actually pretty good too. Part 2 I enjoyed it. Number 1 is just a great movie, start to finish. You can just watch it anytime. Woody Harrelson is just, brought me right back to when he was being Woody from Cheers. Just that whole goofy character. Enjoyed the hell out of this movie. And the whole scene with Bill Murray. Oh, and how he wouldn't die. He just kept coming back to life and kept coming back to life. And to this day, he still use that one line. She's like, you don't know who Bill Murray is? I ought to kill you right now. How do you not know who Bill Murray is? Fantastic movie. 2009, Zombieland, my number 4. My number 3, from another one from 2009, The Collector. Creepy movie. If you like, it's not necessarily torture porn, because, I mean, there's just some scenes that are very cringy in this. There's a couple that's having renovations done on a house. They come home to find this mysterious trunk, and they're attacked by somebody in the house. And it turns out their handyman, Arkin, is actually an ex-con, and he was coming back to rob the house. And when he gets there, he realizes there's all these elaborate traps set up inside there, and the The couple is all set up, basically booby trapped and being tortured, and it's just a great movie. It's just a creepy, real creepy atmosphere. You want to see what's going to happen next, and along the way, he does have moments of clarity because he sees that their youngest daughter Hannah is still alive and she's in the house, and he's trying to protect her, try to get her out of the house. And apparently, it's called the Collector because he likes to collect people, and that's what he does. And little by little, at the end, it just comes to a great climax where, not to be a spoilery, but this is an older movie from 2009. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. You think he got away, but at the last minute, he didn't. And then they do have a sequel to it. The sequel is pretty good too. So The Collection, I enjoyed that as well. But this movie I thought was great premise. I love the whole, this actually I think was supposed to be shopped around as a prequel to Jigsaw. Make it almost seem like this was the Jigsaw character. But I remember reading that somewhere. I don't know, it was Fangoria or something like that. But you could have tied the two worlds together, and the way all these elaborate traps were set up, you can sort of see that. I can see where they were going with that. But The Collector, great. If you haven't seen it, it's a real good suspenseful horror movie. It does have some good gore in it, so it does have those moments because there's a lot of different elaborate traps that go off. But fun movie nonetheless. My number 3. My number 2. For those Rob Zombie lovers out there, my number 2, The Devil's Rejects from 2005. I love this movie. It's polarizing, the Rob Zombie movies. You're either on the Rob Zombie bus or you're not. Either you like them or you hate them. I like most of them. Some of them not so much. Some parts of them not so much. But I love The Devil's Rejects. The House of a Thousand Corpses didn't make this list. It probably would have been in my top 10 because I do enjoy it. But the sequel to it, The Devil's Rejects, to me, this is just a great movie. Captain Spaulding at his best. The late, great Sid Haig. You got Bill Moseley. You have the whole Firefly family. And this is one of the more tolerable performances from Sherry Moon Zombie because she really created that character, so you can see her in that character. She's not emulating somebody else. So it's tolerable. The family is busting out because William Forsythe, who turns out is the sheriff and the brother of the sheriff that was killed in House of a Thousand Corpses. So he's avenging his brother's death and attacks the Firefly compound. And, of course, Leslie Easterberg is Mother Firefly. She gets captured. Tyler Mane, who is uncredited as the one brother, gets killed. And, of course, Baby escapes. Bill Moseley escapes. And they get out and they are on the run. And they reach out to Sid Haig, Captain Spaulding. And they're on the run and all their exploits along the way, where they show up at a motel where they steal a van from this banjo group. It's just hysterical. The whole group, the whole scene at the hotel is great. You can't beat it. They eventually meet up with Captain Spaulding, and they go to his buddy's place, which is basically a brothel, and just more exploits, and then it all culminates. I don't have to give you too much detail, because if you're a horror fan and you like Devil's Rejects, you know every little bits and pieces of this movie. It's just fun. I'm sorry, from start to finish. And it all culminates in one of the best finales of a movie. And you thought it was the end until they decided to come back again with 3 from Hell, because it was such a great, them come in at the very end of the movie with Freebird, one of the most memorable scenes in a horror movie. I thought they should have just ended it right there, because 3 from Hell, admittedly, is not going to be on any of these lists because I didn't care much for it. It's just, only good thing, not necessarily a good thing, was to see Sid Haig one last time before he passed, albeit he didn't look so great because it was near the time he was dying. But Devil's Rejects 2005, my number 2. This movie is just a lot of fun. If you Rob Zombie haters out there, go back and watch it again. It's a fun ride. We come to number 1. Might be controversial for some because it's a remake. It's not the original, but I love this version. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003. This version, okay, you could be a little biased because who doesn't love Jessica Biel in this movie? Beautiful. Arlie Ermy as the sheriff played, what a part he played. Took me right back to Full Metal Jacket. This version of Leatherface, I'm sorry, I thought was much scarier than the original. And I'm not saying this is better than the original because I love the original and it's always at the top of the mountain. But this version was great. There were some great kills in this movie. It had that perfect grindhouse grit. It took you right back to the original. And Leatherface was just looked amazing in this. So to me, this this is my second probably in that franchise if I ever did a franchise ranking. Of course, nothing's going to beat the original because it started it all, but this would definitely be my number 2 because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is more convoluted than the Halloween franchise. It's like you need to do a college level course to understand the Texas Chainsaw Massacre canon to see where everything has been going. But the 2003 film, great. A lot of great kills. Scenes with Jessica Biel are worth the price of admission. And what I like about it, it's not a shot-for-shot remake of the original. Same story, same premise of, wrong place at the wrong time. Still holds true. So, easily my number 1 of the early 2000s, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So there you have it. My top 5 favorite horror movies from the early 2000s, from 2000 to 2009. I'll be doing my 2010 to 2020, probably within another week or so. If you want to come back and check those out, hopefully you checked out my other top 5 rankings from the other decades and you enjoyed them. Got a lot of positive feedback, which has been fun. I'm enjoying doing these, and I'm probably going to go back and do, like I said, part Bs of these because there are a lot of movies that were great that were left off of these lists just because I just kept it to my 5 favorites. And we're going to go from there. So do me a favor. Let me know what your top 5 are. Hit that like button because it helps people find this channel. But comment below. Let me know your top 5. I'd be curious because I might have been something that I forgot about. I'm like, oh crap, I can put that on my next list. So don't be shy and let me know. On top of it, you all know I'm a big Halloween fanatic and collector. If you'd like to see my collection, go check me out on Instagram. And I do give updates about this channel and content on this channel. And it's at that Halloween movie collector where my collection is, updates on this channel, and things that are coming down the pike. Go check it out. Say hello. Also on Twitter, at that Halloween movie collector, where I post stuff about this channel, new stuff that's coming up. Be sure to go check it out if you're in the Twitter world. If you're in Facebook land, go check me out in my Halloween collectors group. Halloween and Michael Myers collectors group. Go check it out. Good group of people, buy, selling, and trading. There's all sorts of Halloween content in there. If you're a Halloween fanatic, that's the place to go to. And be on the lookout. As of this recording, we're probably launching our new podcast on the 19th of February, so it should be pretty cool. So be sure to come check that out. There'll be some more stuff released before then about that. So I'm hoping you guys will come and check us out live and check out the good horror content that's coming with that. That being said, that is my latest top 5. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Go check out the rest of the content on the channel if you're interested. Other top 5s, not necessarily just different decades, but there's other top 5s. There's collectible spotlights. There's co-collector spotlights, all sorts of stuff. And there's a lot more to come on this channel. So if you like this stuff, you like looking at this weird mug. So be sure to come back. Tell everybody about that Halloween movie collector. Talk about it in your sleep. Tell your enemies. Talk to your pets about it. Annoy your neighbor with it. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.